Hello and welcome to Access Paranormal. My name's Jamie Williams, and joining me in the studio tonight, and the only person in the studio with me tonight, is Jonathan Sullivan.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello. And do you know what, Jonathan? It's going to be a really good night tonight because we're going down under.
We certainly are, where the sun is shining.
Well, not according to them. It wasn't earlier on when we recorded the interview.
Very warm now.
I know. We've got Alison and Kag from Haunted Horizons over there in Adelaide in Australia. And, we had to do the recording of them a little bit earlier on. Yeah. Well, we're saying a little bit earlier on. It was quite late, really, wasn't it? Yeah. Because, I mean, when we actually interviewed them, it was 9:30 in the morning for them and 10:30 at night for us. So, that's right. And as we explained, we are a pre-recorded show because of commitments. And they were fantastic. We really had a good
time. They absolutely lovely, they were.
So the whole show, or most of the show, is an hour and a half of it is Alison and Kag talking to us, and what lovely people they are,
aren't they? And such interesting stories, Jamie.
I know, I can't wait. So you're looking at me funny there, Jonathan. Oh, the sound in the yeah. It probably won't come out. If it does, it does. That's the way it is. But yep. So we'll be going over to Australia soon and talking to those two ladies. Yeah. And like I said, we had a good laugh, and some of the stories they told us was really funny.
I know.
So I'm looking forward to that one again.
Really good.
I mean, it was funny when they told us, because the little story is we actually rang them up. We rang them up at 10:30, didn't we?
We rang them up at 10:30, and I think
11:15.
I think when you started recording them, it was about 11:15, wasn't it?
We actually were talking to about 45 minutes, and I said to them, didn't I? I said, do you know what? We could have actually done the full interview with you.
I know.
And 45 minutes later, we actually got them to actually do the interview.
I think they preempted this, though, JB, because Kag, she not only did she bring a cup of coffee, but she had a flask as well. So I think she was expecting to be there for a long time.
Well, the funny thing was, she actually said, was it Alison who said it, that they'd done an interview once before, and they ended up 12 hours.
Yeah.
I nearly fell off my chair. I thought, well, that's what 6 weeks of our show done for us.
Shows.
All we have to do is say hello, goodbye.
I tell you what, they weren't far off though.
I know, But do you know what? I could have kept talking to them. They were so funny and so laid back.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
They even insulted each other. I thought, oh, brilliant. It's not just us who insult each other.
It's like a love-hate relationship, isn't it? Yeah.
And they've been going for 30 years.
I know.
So yeah.
Brilliant.
In a couple of minutes, in a minute or two's time, we'll be playing that interview.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a nice one.
Looking forward to hearing it all again, Jamie.
Oh, what I was sick about those. They turned around and said, it's a bit chilly over here, 31 degrees.
I know, 31 degrees. 3 degrees it is, isn't it?
And she said, we've got that bad weather, it's raining.
Yeah,
it's raining, it's windy, but, it's a bit chilly. We have about 5 coats in the car because it drops down to around 31 degrees.
I don't know. I wish.
31 degrees, we'd be melting.
I know, we would be. We would.
Yeah.
I'd settle for somewhere in between.
I know, so that. But I was like, it's a different world altogether.
It certainly is. And is it Kaz that was from over here?
Kag, yeah. I was surprised. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And Alison
quite local to us.
Yeah, and she was, we can't give too much away about how they met each other and that, because they tell us about that in a minute, don't they?
Yeah.
But getting hold of them was great.
It was.
I thought 45, if I'd recorded the first 45 minutes, we could have used that on another show because it was so funny. And I don't know how much coffee they drink. No wonder they're bouncing off the walls. When you listen to them in this interview in a second, you'll find out how much coffee they were, because he never stopped laughing. Even when he was serious, when he was being serious, I still was expecting them.
I know.
But some of the stories they told were really good as well.
Really good.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jonathan, instead of the listeners listening to us, let's play that interview now with Alison and Kag from Haunted Horizons. So, Jonathan, we're joined online with Alison and Kag over in Australia, called Haunted Horizons.
Oh,
so,
great.
Welcome, Alison and Kag.
Hello. How are you? Good day.
I thought you'd gone then.
Good day.
So, according to your website, you're award winners, and I didn't know, Alison, and I've known you for quite a few years now, that you're an author as well.
Yeah, actually, because I had written that book when I met you. It was 2016 we came over, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
When I went to do the Mill Street Barracks and met you. Look, I've written 2 books. One is paranormal, one isn't. And everybody keeps saying that I should write another because it's been 10 years. Time, you know.
I'll have to. Is it on Amazon?
Sorry?
Is your book on Amazon?
No, I never, because when I wrote it in 2010, Amazon wasn't a big thing back then, and so it was self-published, and I just sell it on the tours, on the website, and at the venues that we do. And I should do, but I never really looked at how to get it onto Amazon.
Right.
Or get it on Kindle or stuff like that. So something I do have to do, I guess, eventually.
And I know we've just started the interview, but now we're talking about your book. What is the name of your book?
Ghosts of the Past. And it's all about the ghost stories and the 10 years of research that we did at the Adelaide Jail, the old Adelaide Jail here.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit of history, all the spookiness, and just what we had happen.
Right. Okay. And well, I mean, obviously we'll advertise it for you as well. Once we'll find out where you can get it from. We'll advertise it for people over here who are interested.
Okay, thank you.
So could you tell us a little bit about Haunted Horizons and how you started off as a company?
I've been seriously researching for about 30 odd years, probably all my life, because I was born into a haunted house in the UK, in Newcastle upon Tyne. So it's always been a moth to the flame. Set up my own team in 2002, and we were very, very lucky because right time, right place, we got the old Adelaide Jail, and we pretty much had free reign of this place, keys whenever we wanted to go in. And our association with the jail, as it went on, they approached us and said, can we develop their tours based on our research? And I said, yeah, no problem. So that's kind of how I got into the tour side. And then in 2010, because we had other good places, I thought, well, why not set up our own tours? And because we were doing them anyway. And that's kind of how it developed. Plus, my husband told me to get a job if I wanted a new camera for investigating with. I had to get a job. So that's how it really started. So I got a job.
All because your husband, yeah?
I was only going to fly under the radar, doing little tours. I wasn't going to do anything like put my head out too far. Confidence, obviously. And we had somebody from the tourism industry, which I didn't know had come on our tour, which just about forced me into going into awards and things. And that's how we became multi-award winning. Eventually became Hall of Fame in the South Australian tourism industry, which probably is our proudest because it means we managed to scrape the stigma away from how people see ghost tours and the paranormal. Yeah, so to manage to scrape that away so that it was taken credibly enough that we were winning the tourism awards was a massive thing. It was such a proud moment. So, yeah, hopefully we've paved the way a little bit there.
And I know you come from Adelaide. Are there a lot of paranormal groups in Adelaide, or are you just the only one out there? I know that sounds a bit silly, but because the only group we know of over there is Haunted. Yeah.
Yeah. There's always a lot of paranormal groups wherever you go, really. Obviously, some good, some bad. It's a case of they come, they go, but there are a couple of other groups here that we get on. They even come on our tours, so. It's
great to see paranormal groups actually merging, mixing together and helping each other out. We were talking to two lads over in Canada last week, and they were saying over there in Canada it's a bit of a taboo, and they seem to be the only ones around over in Canada because it's not looked at as a good thing over there.
Yeah. When we went over to America, we were looking at going to Canada. It was very hard to find haunted places that we could go to in Canada, which is why we haven't been over there big time yet. We have kind of snipped over the border, but
yeah, I think it's mainly abandoned buildings that they're doing over there.
Right.
It's it seems to be a big thing on YouTube at the minute with a lot of groups. I think it's down to COVID, a lot of places closing, that they're choosing to go to abandoned buildings and do paranormal in them.
Well, it was the same. It was when I started 10 years, well, going back when I started researching, but when I started the tours 10 years ago, apart from the Adelaide jail, there wasn't any other tours here. And it was such hard work. When I look back at the slog and the trying to convince people and venues to even do the ghost stuff, even though they kind of had the hauntings, it was really hard work because it was a stigma back then. And now it's it's much easier, isn't it, Kag?
It is very easy now.
You're not giving us all these good venues. So it's the stigma definitely has been lifted more here. It's just hard work. It's just that hard slog trying to show people it doesn't have to be what they think it is, that tacky woo-woo and stuff like that. It can be done sensibly, and it can be done rationally, and it can be done, without all that stuff.
I think now with television and with the radio and podcast and everything else, people are more happy to come forward and do ghost hunts and say they've seen ghosts, whereas years ago it was one of those, wasn't it, where if you said you've seen a ghost or you think you've seen a ghost, you were frightened to say anything in case probably people thought you were a bit mad.
Yeah, you're one of those weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that, or even earlier on, you would have been put into asylum probably. So.
Yeah.
I still need to be put in one, to be honest with you.
I think we all do.
We're at home because we're.
Exactly. We do work for one.
So
but also the downside of the TV shows, though, is the fact that we get a lot of people on tours that expect to see a ghost because it always happens on TV.
Yeah, we find that over here. Yeah. Usually when we don't do many public ones. When we do, we do them for fundraisers. But we usually say to them, look, what you see on TV is what you see. I mean, they could have been filming over quite a few weeks or a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas you're only going to get 5 or 6 hours tonight. You might get something, you might not. We don't know. We can't promise you because, as you know yourself, spirits are not entertainers.
That's right.
We're the entertainers, in a way, because we're trying to bring these people and bring them forward for people. So we are kind of entertainment, but we take it serious. And I think some people don't think we take it serious, and that I find. You doing the paranormal, as you probably find yourselves, it's very hard to prove these things what are happening.
Yeah. Well, as I said, that's what my first line on the tour is, I'm not here to convince anybody that ghosts exist.
Yeah.
My tonight is to just give you what we've had, relate the experiences that we've had, and hope that you get your experience, because you're not going to believe in ghosts until you've had a personal experience. And that's what we're about, is hoping that you'll get that personal experience. But basically, I start it every time. I'm not even going to try and convince you that ghosts exist, because I can't. Basically, unless it happens to you, I'm not going to be able to convince you.
No, it's really hard. But Kag, did you start with Alison on the business, or did you come on a little bit later?
She was like a bad smell. Just kept turning up.
Oh, right. So what happened was, I've always had an interest in the paranormal, but I watched all these programs on TV. Okay, now I didn't understand the paranormal, and you see people, supposedly, being possessed, supposedly having. Oh, excuse me, hold on. Sorry.
I think it's what Alison said about you then.
No, but you see them. Something supposedly followed them home, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I'd never had anything happen to me in the slightest. I've just always had an interest. And then when I came to Australia, which was only about 12 years ago, My hubby bought me a voucher for one of Alison's tours, and I must admit I was really, really cheesed off with him. Because it's like, why on earth would I want to go on a ghost tour and a ghost hunt and have something follow me home? You know, and I was just like, I was really mad with him. But it was a place called Old Salem Town, which is one of our venues. And I went. Alison wasn't there. Alison didn't turn up to any of the venues I was doing. She was off doing other venues at the time.
I knew you were on it.
Yeah, no, you probably didn't know I was on. That's why you didn't turn up. And I got completely hooked. I think it's because the way they did it, it was all to do with the history of the place, what had happened during the tours. There was no theatrics or anything like that. They showed you how to use the equipment. They went off with you into different places. And I was completely hooked the first time I did it. So we came back time after time after time, got to know Alison. Alison was sick of seeing me. And then she said I did hang around like a bad smell, and she employed me. I started helping out first, and then she employed me.
Well, you couldn't have been a bad smell then, could you?
Sorry?
I said you couldn't have been a bad smell then, really, could you?
Oh, no, she still says that. She still says that. And 7 years later, I'm now part of the management team. I research and write his dark history tours, as well as being a lead guide. And Alison's my best mate, and we go off travelling the world together, investigating different buildings. So
I know, because I met both of you when you came to Mill Street to ask could you do an investigation here, and you end up doing one here. But I remember you coming, and I remember going down into the cellar, you know, the main cellar you were in, and you turning around and going, "We're going to go live now on Australia. Do you want to join us, Jamie?" Do you remember that when we were in the boiler room?
Yeah, it's still up. I was only looking at it the other day.
Oh, have you still got it?
It's up on is it on my page or Haunted Horizons? I'll have to have a look. I'll give you the link.
Oh yeah, let's have a look at that. Yeah, and I mean the difference between if there's any difference, you know, when you do the investigations over in Australia, are there any kinds? Obviously, the weather's going to be different, but are there any differences from the investigations you do over there to what you do over in the UK or over in America or where, you know, other places you've been to? Do you find a completely different kind of way we do things, you know, do investigations, or do you just do it the way you normally do it?
Oh, we just do it the way we normally do it. I think it's not a country thing. It's individual, team to team, how people do it.
Yeah.
And really, at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way, because we're all blindly crawling our way through the dark, aren't we?
Yeah.
But we find what we do here relates to what we can do in America, what we do in England. So, and because we hire the places, we don't actually go on the tours, because we do tours. We don't want to be on a tour because you've been with people. So you just want to go back to that breath of fresh air of just relaxing and doing it the old way. I mean, for us, if we were investigating just Kag and me, we weren't doing a live, we weren't doing a tour. We like to sit and just monitor and listen and do bouts of interaction. Whereas if we're going live or if we're doing a tour, because people are there for such a short period of time, you have to be more interactive and to keep it going, because people don't want to sit just in silence. So two different ways of investigating, whether it's public or whether it's not, is the difference.
And I mean, obviously the history over here is completely different to the history over in Australia, because well, it just is, isn't it? There's no explanation for it really. It's just completely different kinds of history, and obviously the buildings are different as well. So do you find when you come to I mean, I know you've been to Mill Street. Did you find that more of a challenge, because obviously you're in Australia all the time, you're used to the buildings where you are? Did you find it a different kind of challenge, or more exciting, or you know?
Definitely, when we go away, you get very used to your own venues, which you probably know, being at Mill Street Barracks. You know how far it'll go. You know pretty much what sort of things happen there. And although it's uneasy on your own, as you said, in the dark in the building, you're pretty used to it and comfortable with your own venue. However, when you go to America and you we hired Trans-Allegheny Asylum just for the two of us, or Waverley Hills just for the two of us.
Just the two of you?
Oh, I knew them in the UK as well.
Yeah. I mean, we've done. Have you?
Yeah, and then you have Markham Castle.
Sorry.
I don't know what you're dealing with. Like we did Markham Castle over there as well, and
Right, yeah.
other places over there. But when you're on your own in those places, they're not our venues. We don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
We don't know how far it'll go, and now you're on your own, and I love it because yes, it is an adrenaline, I guess, thing. I do miss the fear in my own venues.
Yeah.
Because I'm very okay with them. And to go back to that, I really don't know what to expect next. We're sitting here in the dark, hearing things happening around us, swishing of clothing, like in Margam. We could hear footsteps circling us. We could hear heavy breathing circling us.
Wow.
We could hear the swishing of clothes, like a long dress swishing. And it's circling us in the dark, and we're in the dark. And that's where it heightens the excitement, I guess.
Yeah.
I love it. It's scary, but love it. Yeah.
Well, that's the good thing about the paranormal, isn't it? It's the unexpected all the time. It's something you can't get used to. I mean, people can be blasé about other things, but when you're doing the paranormal, it's the unexpected all the time. You don't know what's going to happen if anything does happen.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes nothing. We've been to some of the biggest places and got absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean to say they're not haunted. It
Yeah.
just means we happened to be there one night when it was low in activity, or it wasn't interested in us, one of the two.
Yeah, well,
So,
we've had that
it's
before
like,
over here.
I always say it's like if you're meeting people all the time, coming into your house, you're not going to want to talk to everybody.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Alison? That's exactly what I say.
Yeah, and it's right, isn't it? You would be fed up with people coming in and wanting to ask you to perform for them, if you like.
Yeah, so it's like I say, there might be somebody on the tour, there might be somebody that it just gets the attention, and whether they're familiar or I don't know. But then they'll start choosing to communicate and come through, but otherwise they're not forced to. I wouldn't want to if I was kind of over there, but it's interesting when you go to a new venues. Definitely love it.
Oh, it's the most. It's exciting, yeah. Okay, go on, Colin.
So as I say, the other thing that I love about going to new venues around the world as well is when you've got these two middle-aged women turn up with their little bags of kids. And everybody's looking behind you wondering where the rest of the group is. And they're going, oh. So it's just you two then? Yes, love it is. It's just the two of us. Just the two of us.
I think what it is that in the UK, they're used to groups going in all the time. I mean, you know, we've done locations, and there's just been a couple of us. I mean, because of lockdown, that's what we do anyway. There's only a couple of us.
Yeah.
And it is, they do look at it strange, or just the two of you. Are you two going in there on your own? Yep. We might not be in there long, but we are. Yeah. So, do you ever get any places where you've been to where you've got that fear and you're thinking, what have we let ourselves in for? You know.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Where was it? Oh, Randolph County Asylum. Oh my goodness! It took us till 1 o'clock in the morning to even get out of the room with the light on. Yeah. They gave us the keys.
Yeah.
They gave number for the pizza place. It's in the middle of nowhere. It would take 20 minutes for the pizza to come, but they will deliver. And they also gave us the number for the police because there's nobody around.
I think I wouldn't have gone in if they could give me the number for that.
Massive asylum, and we were sitting doing our Facebook in the room where all the lights are, and we could hear male conversations down the hallway where the cells were, and we were going, I think we just got a little bit more work to do here, haven't we? Yeah.
Oh my
And
word.
it was scary. It was scary, but we did it. We did go out and we did investigate, but sometimes it does take a lot, and people go, why are you scared? Because you do this all the time. And it's like, because inbuilt in us all is that aged fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Because we're not, I always explain it like this: we are not nocturnal animals.
No.
We were in that campfire as the tribe. Out there is where the predators are. So any movement, any shadows, we're going to be very wary of it. And I don't think we've ever lost that.
I don't think we ever will.
I think that's why the fear of the dark kicks in, even though you don't, and the unknown. Because in the old days, in our DNA, that's our safety.
Exactly.
Switch.
Yeah. I mean, we're like that when we go. I mean, me and Jonathan have come into Mill Street now, and I mean, like I was telling you earlier on, we're going to go down to the cellar and do an investigation. And do you know what? I keep finding excuses not to do that one. I'm thinking, should we just do the hallway for tonight?
I can remember you saying to us, "You're not going to go and stand in that doorway over there, are you?"
Was that the end room?
And we were like,
"Yeah."
And we're like, "Yeah."
I've still not been in there.
No, he hasn't. He will not go in.
No, I mean,
we haven't. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say.
Top of us.
Was it when you were here?
Yeah, that's when we were in
the ladies' footsteps.
Do you know what I'm asking you? And I was with you that night.
Yeah.
I remember. I mean, it's quite regular, the footsteps. That's quite a regular thing here, and a lot of people have said they've heard it. And I mean, people come in and go, "Oh, it can't be that frightening." Once them lights go out, it doesn't matter what building you're in. Like you were saying before, once them lights go out, straight away your heckles go up.
Yeah.
So, Kag.
Some nights I've left with the tours. Other nights, it's funny how it feels different nights in these places as well. Because some nights you can go into our places and go, there's nobody home. It just feels so peaceful. And other nights you'll ask the tour to hang on while you just get your staff because you're just going to leave with the tour. It's like, I think I'll leave with you. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, we do that quite regular. And do you do the tour together, or do you do two separate tours, Kag on one and Alison on the other?
Yeah, we generally work because we'll be running 2 or 3 venues a night on a weekend. So Kag's a lead guide, I'm a lead guide, and Craig's the other one. So we'll be taking different venues. So it's not very often we actually work together on the Haunted Horizons.
We don't like working together.
We don't because none of us like each other. When we investigate, obviously go out and do the live streams, and we're working together. But work-wise, no, we usually different venues. And
Craig's not here to defend himself. So tell us a little bit about Craig, and then I'm going to ask you to tell you a little bit about yourself. So Craig, I've never met. For the listeners, just
Craig's
tell us a little bit.
Interesting. He is another one that kept pestering a long time ago to join, and I kept turning him down. Eventually I took him. But Craig, he's actually now almost my marketing manager. He runs his own business consultancy firm. And it's, how do you describe? He's very intelligent because he's the intelligent one of the group. He has degrees in physics and astrophysics.
Right.
So he from that, very much from that science side. And he was doing quantum physics, I believe. He'd have to put us right on that.
I think he wanted to do quantum physics.
He hasn't finished that one, but he was wanting to do that. And so he wanted to be in an arena where weird things could happen.
Yeah.
And that's why he came on board with us. Now, he came on board as a complete skeptic, which is fine because I prefer that to having strong believers because I want to keep it rational. And people who are skeptical will keep it rational. I know they're going to get their experience. And of course, sure enough, Craig has had lots of experiences now, so he's no longer that skeptic, but he's also very rational. So that's kind of his background, very much a scientific background, which is interesting. So, and a business background.
Yeah, he's the guy that deals with all the big words, doesn't he, for us?
Oh yeah. He does all my professional big words. Craig, what's this big word mean? Craig. Craig.
He's very good. He's very good at answering questions as well, isn't he?
Oh, we do. We challenge him, don't we? Like we'll ring him when we're away in America. Just a funny story for you. When we're away in America or England, we'll ring him about 1 o'clock in the morning because we know he's driving home from a tour, and we'll have big questions for him to answer. And I think the last one was Craig. Very important ones, Craig. We always do it in the whingy voice. Craig, if you've got two big foot, is it big feet or big foots? And they're very important questions. We'll ring him team in the early hours. So, look, it's a great team. I'm very, very lucky to have such great people bonded together. So.
Well, I mean, when you came here, I took to you straight away. I could see that there's a really good bond between you, even though you insult each other, which I've noticed. But we do that in our group. We do that in our group.
Yeah, we do that for good banter.
You know you've got good friendship when you can insult each other in public.
Yeah.
I mean, our group, I'll have to introduce you to our group. And we're like a family. We support each other. Not just in the paranormal world. We're friends outside of it as well. Well, we've been together for 10 years. And we all get on well with each other. So what I'm going to ask is Alison, tell us about Kag.
Tell us about you don't want
that's
on the spot.
That's a bit bad, isn't it? Cut now. Stop now.
It's all right. I'm going to reverse it in a minute.
This is public. Do you want the real, or do I just keep that image of being a nice person? No, this is the fun part.
Don't worry, Alison. I can take out the bleeps.
All right, it is on the record for being really, really nice because it's public. All right. Look, the Kag is probably one of the most amazing people I know. I've just put up a post about her, actually. I always think the best thing I ever did was take her on because, and I did, when I took her on, I'm going to say, when I took Kag on, I actually asked her, here was this little woman in front of me, and I'm saying, do you want a job? And then afterwards I went, did I do the right thing? Did I take the right person on? Since then, Kag is so good. She's passionate. She would be as passionate about Haunted Horizons, just working for it as I am, which is great. You can always fall back on it. Her expertise now, I guess, in doing the paranormal investigations, that shines through, her passion shines through to the guests. She's my soul sister, I guess, is the best way of describing it. I couldn't think about travelling overseas without having her there because she's the fun of it. She's the, what else can I say? She's, we had to slap her around a lot to get her there, though. So when she first started, we had to undo everything that she knew or thought she knew. Yeah. This being possessed and, stuff like that. We had to slap her in a corner a bit and go, oi. But no, look, honestly, she's the warmest person. If she's loyal, she's just, That was a ramble, because I'm not used to saying nice things about you, Kag.
And don't worry.
I was going to say, it just brought a tear to my eye.
Kag, don't worry. I've got all this. Kag, we've recorded all this, so you've got it as a backup, so don't worry about it. So it's great evidence in court.
For instance, we've just
emotional.
We've just got a new venue, which is really exciting venue. I can't say yet where it is. Maybe if we ever come back on. But it's very unusual, very exciting. I'm running the business. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing the day-to-day running of it and doing the tour guiding and doing marketing and everything else. So my time is just taken up. So I didn't have time, and a tour takes a lot of research into the history and the stories and everything else. Yeah. So I didn't have time. So Kag has been solely doing this research and putting a script together. Mm-hmm. And usually it takes about a year to do this on a venue. We had to fast-track it because the venue wanted it fast-tracked. So you've done it in 3 months, 2 months. Plus she's had I'm going to say she's had a difficult time in the last few weeks. So she's had a lot of things to deal with, and yet she's still got that out. We haven't done any dry runs. The very first dry run we had to do was to the venue people who know all the history and the work there. So there's no pressure. And she just did everybody proud. You wouldn't have even known that she hadn't done it for the last 6 months giving a tour. It was so seamless. And all those people, the hardest audience ever, just loved it. And it was just like, that's Kag. That's Kag.
Fantastic.
Wow.
And Kag?
Oh, thank you.
Kag? Now you've got to be nice.
I get everything about her.
Now, Kag, the roles are reversed now. It's now your turn to tell us about Alison.
Okay, well,
evening.
Can I just say, Alison is the most passionate person I've ever known, all right? So I never loved history in the slightest when I lived in the UK. I don't know why, because you've got so much history over there compared to over here in Australia. But I came on Alison's tours, and she's so passionate about history, of the buildings and the people, and also about the paranormal. You can't help being dragged into that, you know what I mean? And it becomes your passion, and it's now some sort of really become an obsession. She is such a great businesswoman. She's very fair businesswoman as well. And what a lot of people don't know is the thousands and thousands of dollars she gives away to charity every year as well.
Wow.
Which she keeps quiet. She doesn't tell people.
No, that needs to be told.
Yeah.
You know, she won't tell people in the slightest. And I always end my tours on telling people, because I make sure that everybody does know. But she has become such a good friend, and I am so lucky to have her as a friend as well. She's always there, especially the last few weeks. She's been really there for me. She's made sure every single day, several times a day, she's made sure that I'm okay. As I'm there for her, if she's going through a bad time. We have so much fun together. Oh my gosh, we have laughed until we have literally cried.
I can tell.
And cried. I don't think I have ever laughed as much as I have with Alison. She has just been. She's changed my life, to be truthful. Absolutely changed my life. I never thought that in my mid-40s. Oh no. Yeah, mid-40s.
I know.
That I would.
Yourself younger than what you actually are. Oh,
Well, no. When I met you, I'm not lying. I'm in my 50s. I know. But when I was in my mid to late 40s, that's when I met Alison, and I didn't think that someone could change my life as much as she has. And I've never had the opportunity to do what I have done and where I've been if it wasn't for her. And she's my best mate, and she drives me absolutely insane. She's the most disorganized person in this world. But it wouldn't be her if she wasn't. So love her to bits. That's all I can say. Love her to bits.
She's my PA.
Although I will deny that in court.
Yeah.
You can't. I've recorded it, like I said before.
She's my PA, but it doesn't mean what it normally means.
It's not personal assistant.
I mean,
Personal assistant.
I remember meeting you two when you came here, and when you finished that night and I walked away, I just thought to myself, do you know what? I want to stay in touch with these. These two people are just fantastic. They just bounce off each other. They laugh. I remember it clearly. I remember you just going down into the cellar. I'm laughing all the way down in. I'm thinking, these two, at first I was thinking, these two are mad. But then I thought to myself, but that's me. You know, that's what it's all about. It's the laughter, the banter, and the camaraderie, and the support. And I remember that time when I met you, I thought, these two people are the nicest people I've met for a long time.
Thank you. And likewise as well. I mean,
we fooled him.
We did. We're really good at that, aren't we? What we normally do, we normally break our guides. We've got a habit of breaking people because they're actually normally just sitting in a corner rocking by the time we leave.
Yeah. I'm still rocking.
We actually broke the ghost once as well.
Oh, we did.
How? How'd you do that?
The guide and their ghost.
We did.
Explain that one, please.
I don't know.
Alison, you can do that one.
I'm trying to remember what we did. A lot of singing. We did a lot of singing.
That would break anyone.
We do a lot of singing, and but when we went to Licking County Jail.
Yeah.
Oh, we broke that one. Oh my God, it started swearing. Yeah. We do a thing called the Estus, which you would know with the headphones and the ghost box.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was getting all these swear words coming through from their radio station in America. I said, does your radio station swear? And they said, oh, no, never. And then one of the guys which we're friends with from Paranormal Quest, who are YouTubers, Ryan said, can I take over? And I said, yeah, take over. And he just goes, this is weird. It was just effing and blinding at us and calling Kag an old bitch. It was really weird.
I don't know how he knew. I don't know how he knew I was, but anyway.
Well, mind you, you were talking, things. You were being a bit. It was a jail. Put it that way.
Aggressive, like
No,
aggressive.
I was talking about a certain part of female anatomy.
Well, that's because I came out with it. I heard it on the radio.
You came out with a certain word, and I went, oh. So I just said, okay, who in the room's got the best ones? And then he came out with, he went downhill, and it was the funniest thing. And all these poor guys, these young guys around us that are quite protective of us, were going, oh, be nice to the ladies now. And we're like, no, it's really funny.
Now, come on. What was it? You all be nice to the ladies.
You'll be nice to the ladies.
Old bitch. We were killing ourselves. And the poor ladies that actually ran it said, I'm so sorry, this has never happened before. I don't know why they're being so... So we broke them, basically, yeah.
I can't believe that you broke a ghost.
We broke them. I don't think wicked ghosts haunt us back.
Oh, that's the first time I've ever heard of a paranormal group breaking a ghost.
Yeah, me too.
And Thackeray's, we were told at the Thackeray Medical Centre, you've got it.
Yeah.
Is it Doncaster? I can't remember. Museum, Thackeray's
No, it's
Medical
further up.
Is it? We were told the ghost down in the area we were at hates women and always is quite aggressive to women. So it wouldn't come anywhere close to us. Mind you, the guide got broken as well, so it's like...
we were singing Vera Lynn.
Yeah, we were. I will just say, we take the investigations very seriously.
Yeah.
So if you go onto our live streams, if you go onto our tours, what we do, we take seriously. We don't take ourselves seriously, and that's where we have a lot of fun and laugh. If nothing's happening or it's starting to get aggressive, it's just, we just roll along with the punches type of thing. So,
but don't you find
you can't take yourself too seriously.
No, but don't you find, Alison and Kate, that when you're doing an investigation and you're having a laugh, and we do it all the time, don't we?
Yeah,
we have a lot of laughs, and the atmosphere goes up, and then all of a sudden, when you're taking no notice of what you're actually there for, that's when things happen. That's when the paranormal happens.
Definitely. I say that to tours as well. I made I said, don't, if you're at a party and you've got a group of people over there just sitting quietly, looking glum, and not joining in, or you have a group of people over the other side that's having fun, laughing, and look like a friendly bunch of people, who are you going to go and talk to?
The ones with the laugh.
All right, it's not going to be that boring group over there that's just sitting there with their long faces and not saying a word. You're going to go and join in with the fun.
Yeah, that's right.
It's better energy to go over to. And it's like I said, why would they be any different?
Well,
Why would ghosts be any different to what we are now? If they take their personality over, they're going to be drawn to that fun and that energy. So I always say, don't be afraid to laugh. If nothing's happening, we crack jokes, we sing, and even singing just breaks the ice with people more than anything. You can't sit too seriously. I wouldn't want
and we don't go down the abusive line either, do
we? We never.
No,
we always draw the line. We are respectful. I mean, despite what we're saying about licking Joe, it started abusing us first, so we were just laughing. But it's a case of we're not personally into provoking, and it's like I say, I want whatever's there to communicate with me.
Yeah. I understand
if
that.
Came barreling in and was rude to me and started abusing me out the blue and didn't know me, then I would walk away.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I want to encourage something to come and want to talk to us and want to communicate with us and interact with us.
Oh, definitely.
So
definitely.
Tend to not provoke. I'll challenge occasionally, but not in a bad way. Just if I know we've got some that doesn't like women, then I'll just give a little thing about, well, it's all changed these days, mate. Like I drink my husband's beer. We've got one that doesn't like women at our place. So.
Right. And do you find? I'll ask Keg this one is. Do you find when you go to these locations that you're there on a regular basis, the spirits get to know who you are? They become like your friends, if you understand what I mean on that one.
Well, as in the investigation, or the fact that you've talked about them that much that they actually become part of your...
Both of them really, Kay, because when you go into the place, like we're in Mill Street. I mean, I must have done this one 400 or 500 times now.
Yeah.
We have a spirit here called Claire who tends to react to me, you know. Do you get that in the locations that you go to?
No, they all hate me.
Well,
No.
that was short and sweet, wasn't it?
No, I do. I find that nothing really much. Oh, saying that, it's only a few weeks ago I had a figure stand up in front of me at our asylum, but
that was
a bit strange. It was. No, I don't have things that interact with me personally, and I try and keep myself away from it because I'm there all the time, so I try and keep myself away, and hopefully the guests get something to happen. But I know Alison is the same. We do get very protective of the people that we talk about and the names and the buildings, and that it's almost like becomes your, not part of your family, but it's like, you just have this protective thing over the whole venue.
Right.
And if something like one of the buildings, the asylum was broken into, and for us that was devastating. They didn't really damage the building or anything like that, but it's a thought of, could there somebody's been in there into that environment where, that should be safe for whoever's there.
Oh yeah. Now over here, a couple of years back, I don't know whether you know this or not, but there was on one of our news channels, you actually came up on it. I'm not sure whether you were in a church or whether you were in a building or something, and you had a group of people in there, and I remember it vaguely, and something happened in that building, and none of us noticed it except the people who were in there. I'm not sure whether it was you or Alison or Kag at the same time. I'm not sure whether it was a figure was seen at the back or there was something, and it actually hit the news channel over here, one of our news channels over here.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was sitting. I remember sitting there watching it on the TV, and I went, I know them. That's Haunted Horizons. They actually came across and he said, an Australian group, Haunted Horizons, were in this place, blah blah blah, and this happened. I'm not sure whether it was a church or something. You had a group of people in there.
Yeah, it was in the tail of
Do you remember it? Yeah.
We have a lot happening there. Yeah, so it's which one that...
it could be the one that was on Nuke's Top 5.
Oh, right,
yeah,
yeah.
I watched Nuke's Top 5. Yeah, I watched
YouTube,
them.
Yeah.
We've been on there twice now.
All right, well, I know... Is it one of our news channels?
Yeah. Your video on there, because he didn't ask. He just put it up there, and I went, I had a look, and then looked at how many followers he's got, and he said, I'll let him have it.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. And
I'd have talked to him, so I did thank him.
All right. Going back to your company, Haunted Horizons, tell us a little bit about your tours. What do you do a tour of a haunted place, and then do you take them on an investigation, or is that two separate sections?
Look, we do so many. We've got about 4 locations that are back at the moment, but we've got another 2 coming, and one just on hold because of COVID. So we've got several locations, venues. So at the venues, we'll run what we call a dark history tour.
Yeah.
So that's about putting the face to the buildings. So like in our asylum, I'm talking about 12 of the murderers that were incarcerated there. And what they've done and their story. So that's that side, the history side, because history is very important to what we do. Then we'll do, all of them will be doing something like a 2-hour tour, ghost tour, where it's fully focused on what we've had happen there, relating those experiences. And that's normally when we get the most stuff happening to people on the tours, because we're not actually looking for it, I think. And then we, of course, do the investigations as well. So we'll do a 4-hour, 6-hour, 3-hour paranormal investigation. We've invested about $33,000 on equipment so people can use that.
Oh, my word.
And, people go out and buy this expensive equipment. It's like I said, we play that part as well, because we were watching people go, I've seen that on TV, I've got to go and buy it. And they'd be spending hundreds on a piece of equipment that, at the end of the day, it's not proving ghosts exist or anything like that. It's just flashy. So we've purchased all that, and we said, well, you can come and use it, have a play with it, see what you like, see what you don't like, but at least you've touched it, you've used it, you've played with it before you go running off and spending that money. So we've done it for you.
Okay.
So we never say whether it's good or bad. We just go, hey, it's just another tool to say something unusual might be happening. Doesn't prove ghosts exist, but here, before you go buy it, play with it. Play with it and have a go with it.
So the
You know what my favourite thing to do is, though?
Go on.
What's that?
My favourite thing to do is to watch all the programmes on TV. Say to Alison, oh, look, they're using that. Can we have them? Alison goes and pays money for it, and we get it, and we're like, no, we don't like it. And it sits on the shelf.
Oh, dear. So the tools you use, I mean, we very rarely use any kind of equipment. We usually use a K2 and what's it called? A pod.
A REM pod.
A REM pod. Yeah.
REM pods?
That's how often we use them. I can't remember the names of them. And some of them, I mean, me personally, I think some of them are just electronics. That's all they are. It's just electronics. But it's good that you have them there to give them people the experience to use them and that. Is there any kind of the equipment you use all the time? What your favourite ones?
For me, voice recorders and EVP is my favourite. Going back to using that, just EVP bursts, not obviously doing hours and hours of it. And it's very, very controversial, I know, and I am very rational, and I was the biggest skeptic on the ghost box, but the Estes, where you take the bias out of knowing what the questions are, that we've had some really, really intriguing sessions that
Definitely.
go beyond. Now, you say it's just electronics, and this is my argument, because people go, oh, it's just electronics, it's just bits of equipment, and they can glitch and stuff like that. And with the ghost box, again, it's just a broken radio, and we've got snippets coming out, which was my argument. If you ever read my book, I do a chapter in that where I'm extremely uncomfortable writing it, because I couldn't deny we didn't have way beyond coincidence stuff occasionally come out of it. It's not all the time, it's very rare.
Yeah.
And I've just found that doing that, I was leading somewhere and I've forgotten that because I'm old. I was leading to,
but the amount of interesting conversations we've had with somebody doing an Estes experiment, they can't hear the questions and they've got no preconceived ideas what the answers are going to be. All they're doing is telling you what they can hear.
I was going to get onto about electronics. You say about electronics and broken radios and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, my guides have stopped using their two-ways in venues, in 2 or 3 venues. And that's because they're getting messages coming through from the other guide, mimicking the voice of the other guide and giving an emergency message. So they'll have to pack everything up, go across to the other tour, and that guide hasn't even sent a message.
Right,
so whatever it is, and we're all on the same channel, and only one person got the message coming through. So if that is something, and it's happened a few times, even my voice has been mimicked, hasn't it, Kag?
It has, I was doing an investigation.
And I'm 90 kilometres away in another venue.
Wow.
And Alison's voice was actually coming through, and people were hearing it on the live feed. So
it's a case of, well, if it can... Just a question, I'm not saying it's how it works. There isn't any experts. None of us know how this works. If it can manipulate radio frequencies in that way, then why can't it manipulate the white noise and the stuff on a broken radio, say? Now, I'm not saying, because I hate saying that, because every bone in my body goes, that's crap. It's like... But I had a great one, and I only found out the other day that it changed his life, and I was talking about it on our own. We do a vodcast as well, Ghostcast. and I brought it up. We had a Christmas investigation, and this, not Christmas one, sorry. Back in October, we had this investigation. One of the guys kept pestering me. We don't give our video footage out. And he kept pestering and pestering and pestering, and he was constantly messaging me going, I think I had my dad come through the radio. And he said, can I get the footage? And I kept saying, yeah, I'll look at it. You know, I just didn't get time. Time just wasn't there. And then Christmas morning, I got up. And I thought, you know what, I'm probably going to get another message in a few days. Nobody's up. I've got time to waste. I'll have a look at this video. And I had to listen to it. He'd obviously recognised a voice coming through. And it had said his name. And he said, who is it who wants to talk to me? And it immediately came out with the word Dad. And he said, well, what do you want to say? And it came out with the same voice that said, I love you. Clear as day.
Oh.
Now, I sent that to him thinking, oh, well, I'll send it to him. And he came back with, you don't know what this means to me on this day. Apparently his dad died when he was young.
Yeah.
And he never knew whether his dad was ever proud of him or loved him or anything like that. He didn't have a good relationship with his dad. And I just actually, because I used it the other day on the podcast, a friend of his actually was listening to it, and he says, you don't know how much that changed that man's life, having that. So whether it works or not, whether that was just coincidental radio, at the end of the day, it changed that man's life for the better. And, you know, is that a bad thing? You know,
No.
I don't know. I never put my head on the line and say that was a ghost. But to dismiss stuff, to dismiss everything that we use, are we missing something?
Well, I mean, when you were saying it changed that man's life for the better, it doesn't matter what it was. If it's done good, it's done good.
Yeah, it's changed his life.
Exactly.
Who are we to know? I mean, we can't explain things, and we don't know what the hierarchy can do and what they can't do. And to hear something like that, I mean, that's fantastic. If it's changed someone's life and it's given them that happiness that they wanted, who are we to question? I mean, I said that about mediumship. I'm skeptic on mediumships. I always have been, but I respect them. I do respect them. You know, that's their belief. Who am I to question them as well? And if they give something to someone and that changes their life and makes them happy or comfortable or feel free from the pressure, why not? Why not do it? You know, the most important thing is it's made that person happy. I mean, I'm not a person who believes in coincidence. I think there's a reason. There's always a reason.
Yeah. It's strange how things happen, and as I said, it's not all the time. So I can see why people would dismiss stuff. It's like they might have used it on an investigation once a month, twice a month, and gone, well, we're not getting anything out of it. It's just rubbish. But when you're constantly using it, I mean, we're using this stuff day in, day out, day in, day out. It's not all the time, but you do get some weird, as you say, coincidences.
Yeah.
Where the equipment does some really weird things, but a different type of equipment, another piece of equipment, will trigger as well. And they're both two different triggers going off at the same time. One bit of equipment could be glitchy, could be anything.
Yeah.
But when you're getting two or three going off at the same time, all caused by a different trigger, like temperature or air pressure, or then I say, well, that's not telling me there's ghosts there, but it's indicating there could be something else happening. And it just goes, well, if anybody's having a personal experience at the same time, then it's kind of a stronger backup for that personal experience. Well, I don't think we'll ever prove ghosts exist. I don't think the equipment has ever been invented that will ever definitively say that paranormal exists. We just roll with what we've got. And I just don't think we should dismiss using anything because we might be missing something if we do.
Yeah,
but don't get hung up on it, is basically what I say.
No, but personally, and this is my own personal view, is the best paranormal equipment out there is yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
it's always going to be personal experiences. You know, I gave up trying to prove this stuff a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because you never would. You'll always get knocked down. There's too many ways of also. You put a photograph, you put a video out, it's going to be knocked because too many ways.
Yeah.
People weren't there at the time. And I was such a staunch, I'm going to prove this. I was like everybody when you first get in the field. It's like, oh, I'm all in porn, I'm going to prove this and stuff like that. Eventually, you just get to the point where you go, you know what, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it for what it is, because nobody's going to, I honestly don't think anybody's going to prove that it exists. We can put things forward for people to look at. It doesn't prove, because there's too many ways of hoaxing things anyway. It's just enjoy it for what it is. And
exactly.
Enjoy doing it. Have a passion for it.
And the funny thing is, Alison and Kag, is you can't prove it. It's so hard to prove. And don't you find now with the technology we've got, where you've got Photoshop, there's so much technology out there, and so many manipulating things, that it's getting harder to prove. It's getting so much harder to prove the paranormal. But it should be getting easier, and it's not.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah. I mean, I've got plenty of photos, because I like doing. I don't use Photoshop to make a ghost. I actually use the camera itself, because I love doing long aperture at night and playing with myself in the photograph about 8 times and stuff like that. And the photograph that is on my website, the first one you come to of the jail, is me. It's a ghost standing in the foyer, but that's me. It's just I left the camera aperture open, was there for a short time, left while it was still open. So it's so easy to do, even without Photoshop and the apps and everything else.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's anything you put out there, it's going to come down, as I say, it's going to come down to your personal experience. Enjoy it, embrace it, and look at it as the mystery of life. Because I think if we ever solve it, it'll become really quite boring. Like, we want that mystery. We don't want to think that everything has been explained away. Otherwise, what's left in life? It's just, we do embrace that mystery of it all. So,
but do you know what? I think even if you do prove there's the paranormal out there, even if you get that evidence to say, yep, I've seen the apparition, I've proven it, I've shown it to everyone. The thing is, with the paranormal, you'd still want to go out and have more. You'd still want, even though you've done it, you want to do it again and again and again.
Oh, it's so addictive, isn't it?
Yeah.
As I say, we don't do it now to prove it. I guess we enjoy doing it. We enjoy the interaction. When we get some interaction, it's addictive. But a long time ago, I gave up the proving it. And I always say, it's the same thing I say to the tours, we don't know how it works. No. It's hard enough to prove stuff exists without saying how it works. So I always say, if anybody tells you how it works, walk away from them. And that includes me. If I tell you how this works after 30 odd years, walk away.
Yeah.
Because I really don't know. You think you've got a hang on it, and then it'll change it. It's almost like we're not supposed to know.
Well, it's one of those mysteries, isn't it? The mystery of the universe.
Yeah, and the fun is doing it and finding out. And I mean, how excited do you get when you get an EVP?
Yeah. Every time, isn't it, John?
Yeah, it is. It really goes.
It never gets tiring of, when you get the footsteps going across the... It's just, it never tires. You just want more.
You never get bored of it. And do you do this, Alison and Kag, when you're out on the road and you're having a drive and all that, do you ever go past a building and go, I wouldn't mind doing an invest in there?
Oh, all the time. I bet that's haunted.
It's so true. You think, I wouldn't mind doing an invest. Even if you go past a pub, what's empty, wouldn't mind doing an invest. And that's even when I go to work every morning, I go to work about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I drive past the same buildings every time, and sometimes I go past the same building and go, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing an invest there. And then you start thinking, I wonder how you can get in touch with the people.
Yep, that's us. You'll be driving around the countryside going, oh, God, that looks like a good one to do.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. And that's the good thing about doing the Most Haunted Live, where we're trying to promote tourism as well, is we can go into pubs and say, hey, we're thinking of doing this. Is it okay? And we've had no end of...
Yeah. Well, we managed to get into the Adelaide Zoo to do a live stream the other day, and that's a biggie.
Wow.
So we did a big investigation in there. So
Yeah, well, we did one over here. And we can't really say the name of it.
No.
And it was an absolutely I mean, they actually contacted us the next day and said, please do not say anything to anyone because we don't want it to go to the press. We really don't want the press involved with this. And I think that was the best one we ever done, wasn't it?
I think it was the best.
We had the window banging, and the actual whole window was shaking. We had like a baby's
the table off a high chair.
Off a high chair that went flying up in the air. The next day when the staff came in, things were happening to them, and they called us back, and then we were going to go back, and then he stopped us going back and said, look, we really don't want, because if the press get hold of this. And I said, well, you know what, we're not going to say nothing to the press. Anyway, they didn't let us back for about 6 months, did we? And then they turned around and said, look, we want you back, can you come back again? And to have that was fantastic. I wish I could take you there, because that was the one of the places where
just so many things.
Yeah,
I mean, that was I'd say that was definite poltergeist activity. But then we had all kinds of strange smells,
and the animals in there were very unrest. When an animal's what was it? They were unrest, weren't they? They were like loud noises. They were banging on things and things like that. I mean, unsettled. That's it. Yeah. And we were trying to work out why they were like that, because we thought, is anybody in here with us? So we actually went round the place and checked everywhere that there was nobody in there, and there was just us in there and them animals. And right at the end of the night, they were, where the animals were was the cafe, and that's when, as we were walking out, we were finishing. We were actually going home, and that's when it kicked off straight away.
Yeah.
But
it was from inside, and it was locked. There was only us there, and the cafe that part was actually locked up, and it was one of the girls that was with us, wasn't it? That had the keys to it all. So as the group of us got to this big window, it was actually like someone inside had actually punched the windows.
Oh wow!
It was quite.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it was quite. I don't know. We just weren't expecting it at all, because I'd say we were on our way out, and it was just as it was just like there was a few of us in front, because there was quite about 15 of us there. Yeah. And there's about 5 of us in the front with the group going out, and just as we got to the window, that's when we got the really big bang, and you could see into the cafe itself. And then the table flew off the high chair.
Never seen anything like it.
No, never seen that before.
Sounds fascinating, that one.
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, we can take you there and show you around it, because it's open to the public anyway, but there's been no investigations in there since we were there. They just said no, we can't let it happen like this. I think we've done it 3 times, haven't we?
Yeah, about 3 times.
And then they said, because they were going to let paranormal groups in, and then he said, look, we really don't want this. We step back from it and that. So that's what we did. We respected that and everything else. There is talk of the Maskiners coming back again, but obviously COVID's happened. But that they are, like, in the new year, it looks like there's a possibility we could go back there. And going back to yourselves, have you gone to places? What's the best place you've ever been to get like that experience that you've had?
Wow.
I mean, Mill Street was good, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention Mill Street.
Well, that was the very first one we ever did overseas, wasn't it?
Was it?
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
We did Chillingham, but we were only staying the night there.
Yeah.
Right.
We kind of snuck off and did an investigation at Chillingham Castle, but that wasn't our real. And then we came down to you guys. So I think it was only, because we were really only there that time for family, weren't we? So I think you were the first investigation we did in England, proper one. And then we got hooked coming to England again and doing those, and came back ever since. Margam in England, for me, Margam Castle was the most challenging.
Yeah, definitely.
Because as I said, we were in that building on our own at the furthest corner. We were aware we had to go through 3 or 4 rooms in the dark to get down the staircase to get anywhere when we had that thing walking around us. In America, I think the most exciting one, I'll pass over to what Kag's is, but for me, the one we had at the West Virginia Penitentiary,
Right,
that
okay.
kicked off almost immediately. I cannot explain how we can have massive bangs down the hallway to the side of us, behind us, footsteps, all at the same time.
Yeah.
And even the boys who run the tours there, they were jumping. You could see them on the video. They jumped whenever, because they weren't used to it either. The scariest would be Randolph at the time, because as I said, we were down the hallway. Our venues probably had, I think, Taylor, where you saw that church, we've had the most major stuff that I've seen happen. We've got video footage of a woman turning into a 6-year-old child.
Really?
The face changes. Yeah.
Wow.
On a tour, and she can't remember any of it. It actually led us to, because I went looking to see if a child had drowned in the area in history, because there's a river behind, and it actually led us to a death on the property I didn't even know about, and we've been there 3 years. The 5-year-old boy had drowned, which was a uncle of the present owner in 1918, and it was the anniversary. Well, put the hair up on my neck. It was the anniversary.
Oh wow.
Of his death.
Who should check?
And I knew nothing about it. So that's the stuff we don't put up. We show it on the tours, but we don't put that stuff up because there's a fine line between scaring people off coming to tours and actually bringing them. So, but yeah, no, we've had lots happen in that church that I just can't explain.
Wow. And Kag?
So, I have to agree with the foreign ones. Definitely Margam, West Virginia State Penitentiary, and then Randolph County Asylum. And I think as much as I love Salem Town, because that is such a unique destination, and we have lots of weird things in there. The weirdest one of our venues for me is Z Ward, because we've had so many extremely weird things going off that happen for a few weeks and then stop, as though they get bored and they're doing something different.
All right.
That's probably been our most touchy-feely place.
And just to explain, Z Ward is actually the criminally insane building for our old historical asylum there. So that's where all the criminals, if they had a mental health issue, were put in history.
And do you do a lot? Sorry.
That's where you had your experience, isn't it, Kag? That was funny. The one that stood up in front of you.
Yeah. We were doing a lot. We do.
Kag goes all around. I'm just going to set the scene, then you can tell the story. Kag goes all around the world with me. All right? We go into some of the darkest, creepiest, biggest, intense places, just the two of us. And out of the two of us, Kag is the bravest. All right? There's going to be times when I just balk and I go, I don't know if I can go down that creepy hallway there, on my, with just the two of us. And she'll drag me along. She'll go, come on. So remember that Kag is very rational and is not easily flustered. All right? So when Kag comes to me and tells me something, you take notice. So over to you, Kag.
All right. Well, we do live investigations free of charge on our Haunted Horizons page occasionally for our guests to join in with us. And we were setting up one night. I left Alison in one area, the opposite end of the building to where I was. And I got my arms full of equipment and I put them into two particular cells, which are known to be quite active. So I put some equipment in one of the rooms, moved across to another cell, and I was going to put equipment in there, but I noticed I could see something on the floor, and it was a dark night, but I could see this shape on the floor. Now, my immediate thought was somebody had left something in there, and I thought, I'm going to have to put my torch on so I can see it. So, because you know how expensive equipment is, I don't want to fall over something and drop it all on the floor, because Alison would not be very happy with me. And I couldn't get to my torch because it was in my back pocket. So one of the things we use is a flashing ball. I turned the flashing ball on, and the very first flash it did, this shape was on the floor, then stood up.
Oh, right.
So I was in the doorway of this small cell, and this figure then stood up opposite me, and I just stood there and went, oh, shit. And I didn't know what to do. As weird as it sounds, I think if I'd been in a different venue, I would have ran.
Yeah.
But I just stood there, and I was like, I was just gobsmacked. And then I just turned and walked off and went, Alison, we've got a visitor in cell 2.
Just like that.
She came down there, it had gone.
I would have been saying that on my way home.
It was so weird.
So I would have said that on my way home. I'd have been on the phone to Alison saying, Alison, your equipment's in cell whatever. I'll see you later on. Yeah, that's what I'd be like. But my partner Marie, she's the same as you, Keg. She's got no fear. She'll go anywhere. She'll disappear and you can take her to any paranormal investigation, and she'll go wandering off to place. And I'm like that. If that would have been me, I'd have had to have like the bright. I'd have had to borrow a lighthouse torch, one of them lighthouses, to shine the place up. But she just goes off on the wander.
That Randolph County Asylum, I slept in there by myself.
Really?
And I was woken up 2 hours later by somebody shaking the settee that I was sleeping on.
And I was sleeping out in the car, so it wasn't me.
Oh my word.
Oh dear. Well, I've slept here at Mill Street on my own. I think I've done it 3 times now, haven't I? Yeah.
Cool.
I've done it 3 times. It was braver than myself. I was too tired. What it was is there was a paranormal group in one night and another paranormal group in the next night. So instead of going home, I just thought, do you know what? By the time they'd finished, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, I might as well stay here. The shower's here and everything else. So I just stayed the whole night. And the next week, come in, he said, "Did you sleep here?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Did anything happen?" I said, "Yeah, I was asleep." "Did you see anything paranormal?" I said, "I didn't even want to know." I said, "I just went to sleep, got up, and just hoped for the best." Then the funniest one was I was sleeping in dormitories up here, and there was an opening day the next day. So I thought, right, I'll sleep in the top room. I'm okay. Nothing's really happened in there. And the next morning I woke up. You know when you wake up and you're like just lying there and you're trying to wake up, and I was in the sleeping bag and the door started to open on its own. I was going, oh no. I can't get out the sleeping bag. The door's open. There's no way I'm going to get out of this room. And I'm just going to have to ride the whatever's going to happen next. And honest to God, I was like tightening up the sleeping bag, just lying there as tight as I could and everything else. And then this head pops around the corner and goes, "Jamie, have you got your keys? Your car's in the way." And that was the biggest relief I had ever had. I just said, "There's the keys there." And as soon as you got out the room, I was up, dressed, and out of that bar. I thought, I'm not doing that again. So, have you ever done have you had funny things happen on your investigations to yourselves?
Oh gosh, so many.
It's difficult when you got to look back though, isn't it?
Yeah, because just what be funny that comes to mind. We have so many funny moments. I can't think of one at the moment. We've not had anything like that.
Yeah.
No.
We've never had anybody sort of come in and join us, sort of thing. But not human anyway. It's just actually no. The thing is for us, it's tripping over in the dark because we're old ladies with our balance isn't very good.
Oh, what about the investigation at the British the other night, where they got their money? We were at the British Hotel. That was funny. Well, it wasn't for me, but it was for everybody else. So I'm at the British Hotel. We're doing a live stream. We were on the subscribers page, so we were giving them. Oh yes, free
I just realised what you're talking about. Yeah, sorry.
Here I am. There's a table there. There's a small table, so we put all our equipment on it.
Yeah.
It's a little antique table, and it's quite heavy. You know how antique tables are quite heavy.
Yeah.
And I was sitting by it and asking for things to happen. I thought, I'll do a EVP session. So I reached up to the table to get my voice recorder off it. And as I pulled my hand away, the whole table came down and smashed right on my head, just about knocking me out on the ground. But then it hit the REM pod, so you got a dying note of a dying REM pod going. It's like Kag is wetting herself with laughter.
Yeah, I couldn't move.
Everybody
there was nothing.
Is like, there was no, is she okay? It was like, quick, call in the helicopter, the chopper, investigator down. It was just like, It was so funny. It was funny, I must admit. So,
Yeah, it was. I must have. I was crying with laughter. That was hilarious.
They got their money worth.
It's great when you have that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we are very good at tripping over, not seeing a step. Alison's very good at banging her head into things. You've walked into several things, haven't you, in the dark?
Yeah.
And it's always good if you can catch that on camera as well. So that's always cool. But we're just very clumsy. Yeah, we don't break other people's things. We break our own. Well, actually, I break Alison's. It's not mine. But we break our own things, and we hurt ourselves by. I nearly fell into an open fireplace at one point. So that was a little bit dangerous. But hey, apart from that, it was all.
A first cremation on Invest. Well, you've gone quiet.
Sorry?
I said the first cremation ever on an Invest.
Exactly. Well, I forgot there was a step and it was in the dark, and I went down it and I headed towards the fireplace, and I'm like, thankfully it was my head that stopped me actually going, because it was a big fireplace. Yeah, one of those big old-fashioned type, and I nearly went into the fireplace, but my head stopped it, so that was all good.
Oh my word.
I've told her
Thank goodness.
she's working. She can't get out working for me that easy. She's worth more to me on the other side. She'll still be working. I own your soul, Kag.
So I gather. I remember seeing that one in blood.
I can tell you get on so well. The insults you give each other.
Yeah.
I've been good.
We have been very polite today, tonight, whenever it is.
Well, it's 12:30 in the morning here. What time is it there then?
11 a.m. in the morning. The morning ahead of your morning. 11 a.m.
Yeah.
No, 11 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, and for
We
any
are your future.
and for any listeners who are just checking their clocks, don't forget this is pre-recorded, so your clocks are right. I'm just giving you what time it is when we're recording this. Because Alison and Kag are in Australia.
We are your future, and I can tell you that 12 hours in your future, or whatever the time difference is, everything's still okay. The world is still in one piece. You're all good.
Yeah, you're all good.
When you get there.
Right, can you do that? You couldn't give us the lottery numbers as well, could you?
Hang on a minute.
Hey, I tell you, if I could get the lottery numbers, I won't be working for Haunted Horizons. Oh no, I didn't say that out loud.
Oh.
Well, talking about the name Haunted Horizons, how did the name come about?
Do you know how it came about? I put in ghost. I couldn't think of a name, and Adelaide Ghost Tour sounded too So I actually brought up an online band name generator. When you want a name for your band, I put in ghosts, and it came up with Haunted Horizons. So that's how it happened.
Right, correct.
Nothing special. It was just a free band generating name online.
Well, that's the.
I thought I like that. So I took it.
That was one of the easiest questions I've ever asked. You know, because somebody when you ask how do you get the name, it's like, well, what it was is my auntie's sister's daughter. Just put my name in a random. Yeah. We actually got. Well, we're called Ghost Quest. Well, we call ourselves Ghost Quest Liverpool now. We actually, when we first started, I mean, we've been going 10 years this year. We can't even celebrate because COVID got in the way. And when we first started out, we were like, what names can we have? And we were coming up with all these different names now. And in the end, we got the group at the time and say, put some names in a hat, and what we'll do is whatever name we pull out, that's what we're going to be called. And the word Ghost Quest come out. So it was a girl. I remember the girl who come up with it as well. A girl called Kerry Lewis. She said that that was the name I come up with. And I said, well, that's the name we're going to be because that's the name I got pulled out of the hat. So we actually called it Ghost Quest. But we found that there's other groups out there now who's called themselves by that name. So we added the Ghost Quest Liverpool so people know that we're identified from Liverpool and not the parts of the country.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how we got our name. It's interesting how people get the names, really.
Yeah, I just
apart from Alison's.
Apart from mine, I'm just the quickest way. Sticking a bell generator. There you go. That sounds good. It resonated. It resonated, and I think it's I still kind of it's who we are. Haunted Horizons.
And it's an easy name to remember. I mean, if I can remember it, it's got to be a good name.
Yeah, it's got to be easy if Jamie remembers.
I can't even remember team members' names sometimes. I get them all mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that with my lads, and I've only got two, and I get their names wrong. So
Is that you, Alison? Yeah.
I keep calling my son Cameron. I keep calling him Kag.
Oh dear. well,
yeah, but how many times have I been called Cameron though?
Yeah. No.
Well, I've got two sons called Mark and Ian, and honestly, the amount of times I get the names mixed up, and I go Mark, and he goes Ian, and then I go, oh Ian, by the way, and he go Mark. So.
Yeah, I know. Mine do the same.
So when they were born, I should have called one Mark Ian Williams and the other one Ian Mark Williams, and I'd have been laughing.
Yes. Yeah,
But,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we have now been talking for, let me have a look, about an hour and a half, approximately. So you were right, you can do a 4-hour show, no problem.
It can be, I tell you.
At least we got less than 5 minutes.
Well, what's nice?
We didn't think we were going to do that, so that was good.
They'll be wanting to get rid of us by 5 minutes.
Yeah. Do you know what?
That's what I thought.
I'm not even going to cut this. This is going out as it is. I'm just going to do the whole show is just going to be the Haunted Horizons Australia. I'm not joking. That's what it's going to be. So anybody listening out there, I am sorry. I had to do it, but it's so good.
I like that. I apologise for these two that I had on today.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going.
People apologise for us, don't they?
I was going to do that. I was going to do that after the interview, so you couldn't hear me. But you know.
Oh dear.
But no, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really interesting.
Yeah. So am I. I'm enjoying it as well. It's just nice to have a chat with like-minded people.
But what's nice, I mean, is what's weird is you're actually in Australia. You know, years ago you couldn't do this. How many 10 pences would you have had to put in the phone box to do an interview like this?
I know.
Yeah.
Is it 10? It's dollars over there, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never used a phone box since being here, so I wouldn't know how much it is in here. But yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, we haven't got a phone box over there. I'm showing me age.
I know, yeah.
And
So, have we got any left?
When I first came out here,
Sorry?
you had to actually. When I first came here, you actually had to write a letter. Can you believe that? And send it back to England, and then wait for them to write a letter back again.
Those were the days.
I mean,
it's like, how long is that?
Is that the days when we had rickets and diphtheria and that sort of thing as well?
Yeah, exactly.
And the days of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Because you are older than me.
Yeah, the days when they wrote on a slate with chalk.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Before that, it was sand.
Alison we didn't have slate. She just had the rocks that she could find to write on. It was all good. Before the days of slate.
So what he's trying to say is them paintings in the caves are used to writing.
Yeah.
I think you can still find some of my cave paintings around.
Yeah, you probably can.
It's called graffiti now, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? Now it's graffiti. Back then, it's now art. It's completely different.
Yes, exactly. All those people were complaining back in the day. Have you seen all those people messing up our caves? All these pictures.
Yeah.
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 It's unbelievable. Yeah.
And now it's because it was in the way, wasn't it? It was all graffiti. But
what's going back to the paranormal? What's the most unusual place you've ever investigated?
A nocturnal house at the zoo.
Yeah, I was going to say the zoo as well.
A nocturnal house.
House at the zoo.
Yeah. Why was that unusual?
It was such an unusual place, doing a big major metropolitan zoo.
Yeah, I was going to say, was there history to it?
You know, I don't know. It was just unusual and we had some unusual stuff happen there as well. With that one,
footsteps.
Yeah, it was bangs and footsteps, and the biggest animal there was a bat, a small bat. So, and I'd gone off. It was very dark. It's like a U-shaped tunnel at the back of the nocturnal animals' cages or glass cases. And there's a keeper who had his arm ripped off by a polar bear there, and he died.
Yeah,
so that's kind of the history of the place. So I'd gone down the dark hallway because I'd heard some sounds, what sounded like footsteps. So I'd gone off down there on my own in this U-shape, gone down the other U-shaped section, had some equipment really, like flashing cat balls and whatnot. And what I didn't know, because I was well away from them, had my voice recorder and stuff like that, and I was talking to this guy to see if it was him. And because it was very unusual because we had to speak very quietly because we couldn't disturb the animals. So we had to talk in this very low voice. So I couldn't hear what was going on right down the hallway around the other side. And apparently Kag was asking very quietly for it to come up to me and touch me to let me know whatever it is was there. And I just turned to look back at the equipment, turned to look back down the hallway, and there was this black figure-shaped thing right. It would be inches away from me when I turned back, and then it just vanished in front of me. And all my equipment went flying because it startled. Without a doubt, you turn around and it's right there on top of you. It startles you.
Yeah.
And I just leapt backwards and everything went flying. I mean, whether the animals slept or not after that, I don't know. But yeah, it was unusual because we had to do it differently. We had to be quiet. We couldn't use the usual stuff. Yeah. And it was just being in a massive metropolitan zoo, city zoo, and it's just that would be the strangest place, I guess. Yeah. Most of the other places we've done would be your run-of-the-mill jails, asylums, homesteads, things like that.
Yeah, I'd love to do an asylum. I've never done an asylum yet.
Haven't you? Oh my God, they're my favourite, but they get rid of all yours. I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
I've got a whole book on English asylums, and every time I went, oh, that one looks good, I look up to what's happened to it. They're either now being sold for housing or knocked down, and it's like, oh my God, these are beautiful buildings, and England's just getting rid of them.
Yeah. There's one place
you have to come to Adelaide and come to ours.
Oh, I'd love to do it. There's one place which I've done over here. I don't know whether Jonathan's done it. I don't know whether you watch it because it's over in England now. Is I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? I guess not.
I did watch it when I lived in the UK, but I haven't seen it since.
Well, if you watch it now, if you get to watch it now, they're actually filming it in Wales. In fact, it finished today, sadly.
Yeah.
And it was in a castle. It was actually in a castle in North Wales called Gwyrich. Well, we call it Gwyrich, but it's said another way in Wales. It's Gwyrich or something like that. And I've actually done 2 paranormal investigations in that place. And it's funny because now all of a sudden, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here is actually just finished there now.
Okay.
That's an incredible place. But I'll tell you another place. What when you come over, we'll take you down. It's in Wales. Hopefully, COVID will be over with then. Well, it will be if you're flying over, wouldn't it? Be cleared. But there's a place called Wepper Park, WEPRE, Wepper Park. If you want to look that one up, and there's a castle in the middle of there, which you can go to, and it's just a park, so we can just go walking through there in the dark. And I'll get a friend of ours called Lynn who lives up that way, who knows everything about Wepper Park. There's nothing she doesn't know. If she doesn't know about it, it's not worth knowing. And she will take us through there and give you the full history of the ghosts. She'll give you the history of the places. She'll take you on a tour of the place and do an investigation as well. And she is absolutely she is fantastic on Wepper Park. In fact, we actually got it on about a month or 2 ago. and we actually had her on for about an hour and a half, same as you. And she talked about Wepper Park and what happened in there, the history of it, the ghosts in there and everything. If you come over, we'll take you up there as well. We'll organise that, and we'll get Lynn to take you round.
That'd be brilliant.
That's cool. Yeah, I like the sound of that.
And it's very, very dark. It really is dark. We've done that quite a few times.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's very eerie. A few people do slide down on the backsides and things like that because it can be muddy. So, but with Lynn, she's very good at tour guides. I mean,
we haven't got. Do you have rescue helicopters? Because Alison's renowned for needing them. So,
to be honest with
I have been known to have a helicopter come in and get me out.
there'll be no helicopters in this one because it's woods, and then you walk. I think you walk about a mile. Sorry.
What fun is that?
True. If you write it down, WEPRE Park, England.
Hold on, wait a minute. I need some paper.
I've got some here if you want any. Are you ready?
All right. So what is it again? Yeah.
WEPRE.
Yeah.
Park. PARK.
Okay.
And it's in Wales, UK. It's fantastic. There was battles in there, you know. I'll get Lynn to tell you the story anyway when you come down. She'd love to take you around. She's so enthusiastic about it as well.
Yeah. Lots of history.
Yeah, she'll tell you the ghosts, the history. She'll even take you to where the nuns were allegedly buried. She'll take you where there's an animal graves and everything. She's brilliant.
Yeah, little pet cemetery.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We've done it a couple of times, haven't we?
Yeah.
It is eerie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Unusual areas around it. And she'll tell you. I don't want to give too much away because it's worth it for Lynn.
That sounds great. Yeah, that sounds great.
Brilliant. I like that.
Yeah, and like we said, there's a little castle in the middle of it. When you look it up on Google Earth or whatever you'll see the castle in the middle of it. I think it's called Ewell Castle, isn't it? EWOL. I think that's how you spell it.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
I think that's how you spell it. EWOL Castle. And that's on there as well. You'd love that one. So yeah, we'll get you up. We'll get you up to there, and you'll go and enjoy that one as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
Alison and Keg, before we go, could you let the listeners know how they can get in touch with you, or your website, your Facebook page, or anything like that, please?
Yeah, look, you can find us Adelaide Haunted Horizons that's the website. Same with Facebook, Adelaide Haunted Horizons goes to us, and we have a YouTube channel as well. So that's got the overseas investigations we do and the live streams. So that's, what's that one? Adelaide Haunted Horizons, I believe, goes to us. So anyway, basically if you put that name in, they should bring up most of our stuff. So even Haunted Horizons should bring it up. But we do live streams, we do live investigations from our places from all over the world. You can join in at home. If you tune in, it's free. You can join in and comment and listen for us and see if you're hearing things. And so it's very interactive. And
it's dead easy to find. The way I found it is the easiest way. Is just Haunted Horizons, Adelaide, Australia. That's all I did.
Basically, it'll bring us up.
Yeah. Well, you're the only ones I know of. So I mean, it was so good. And it was lovely to actually catch up with you. I mean, before the show, we were actually talking to you for 45 minutes before we even started recording the actual interview with you.
I know. I'm just looking at the clock, thinking, "Oh my gosh, it's nearly lunchtime."
I'm looking at the clock. do you know what time it is here in the UK? 10 to 1 in the morning.
20 past 11.
20 past 11.
10 to 1 in the morning. And we're still going to do a little mini investment in Jonathan.
Yeah.
So when this goes out, I think it'll be this Sunday anyway, because I'm going to put it on Sunday. All the listeners and they're going, huh? Yeah. It is pre-recorded. We do explain that it's pre-recorded. The whole the whole show's pre-recorded because of all the commitments. I can't do live shows at the moment. So I enjoy pre-recording, so it gives me more diversity that I can put more into it then as well.
And pre-recorded, you probably wouldn't have got us if you hadn't have done pre-recorded.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And we've loved having you on. In fact,
It's a great deal.
to be honest with you, you've made it so much easier for us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, I'm glad you're finishing now as well because I've just drank up the last of my coffees that I had out. So I'm out of coffee now. So
Well, next time you'll have to put a bucket next to you.
I know. You have to send some over.
I'll just have it intravenous. It's all fine.
So, Alison Kag of Haunted Horizon, thank you so much for joining us. We really enjoyed it, and like I said earlier on, we'd love to have you on a regular basis. So, every other month, would you be prepared to come on and talk about what you've been up to and things like that?
Oh, I don't. Oh, what about you, Kag?
Well, I don't know. They're a bit dodgy, aren't they?
Yeah. I can't do it all.
Yeah, that'd be great. Woofy.
Oh, thank God for that. I was just about to leave this interview then.
Hello. What are they like?
Yeah. So, Alison Kag, thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to the next time you're on. We certainly do.
Yeah. So do I, Jamie. Yeah.
Excellent.
Really interesting.
Brilliant. So
Thank you. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. So, thank you so much. How good was that interview?
It was brilliant, wasn't it, Jamie?
It was so laid back and he was so funny.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, and the funny part was when I turned around and asked him about something, she went, yeah, she's like, what was it? She smells or something.
Oh, yeah, it's like a bad smell.
Yes, like a bad smell.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
It's like a love to hate.
Yeah, they were brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I
Superb,
really
yeah.
enjoyed it. I mean, we were going to have other things on the show, but,
Yeah.
After interviewing them and they took the time out. And the funny thing was we when we said at the beginning of the show, we had 45 minutes before we actually started recording them.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all different conversation as well.
Oh, I know. But, I mean, what's strange is they're in Australia.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, it was so late for us,
Yeah.
early for them,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
Well, that's why we're here at Mill Street, because we had to,
Yeah.
we had to come in. And what time is it now? I know it's pre-recorded, so don't look at your clocks. Like I said, it's 2:15 in the morning,
Yeah,
and we're still doing this show.
I know, yeah.
That's how much we love this stuff, isn't it?
It is.
And but no, that was Haunted Horizons. Alison and Kag, thank you so much again. That was brilliant. Can't wait to the next one.
Oh, well,
And don't forget to keep in touch. And talking about things, we're going to change the subject a little bit now,
yeah.
because there's not much of the show left, to be honest with
There
you.
isn't, is there?
No. We had the electrician in Mill Street the other week,
Well, yeah.
and you were here with me because I can't even remember what we come in for. Was it to do
I
this?
think we had to come and pick something up, didn't we?
That's yeah,
Just out of the studio.
yeah. And we bumped into the electrician,
Yeah.
and social distancing. We were talking to him. We've got to state that.
Yeah.
And we said to him, "You're working here on your own. Don't you get frightened of
yeah.
the ghost or what's going on in here?" No, I'm used to it. And we had a conversation with him for about 40 minutes, just talking about Mill Street.
Yeah.
And he was telling us his experiences, and that was that a voice? Did you hear it?
Then?
Yeah, I hope that's picked it up on the studio.
I know,
yeah. Going back to it, I mean, he was saying that he was doing the electric box. Remember the electric box?
Yeah, in the room by the kitchen.
Yeah, and he turned round and he thought he saw someone standing there watching him.
Yeah.
And he just thought, oh, he's just seeing what he is. And he went back up to do the electrics, turned round, and the person was gone completely.
Yeah. And the best one of all, Jamie. I mean, I've never seen that electrician before. I don't think you have either.
Never met him before.
And he spoke about the cellar and doing a smoke alarm in the cellar.
Yeah.
In the end room, and he said he really, really doesn't like that room. How strange is that? Your least favourite room. You won't go in there.
I won't go in there.
Yeah, and there's a smoke alarm was showing up faulty.
Yeah.
And he went back down. There was nothing wrong with it. But yeah, but how strange.
And the oh God, I lost my words then. The one where he said there was like a sergeant major or someone, or he felt like there was someone standing at the top of the stairs looking at him.
Yeah.
So there was that one. He said he was dead blasé about him. Yeah, it doesn't worry me one bit.
He says he speaks to them.
Yeah.
He has conversations with them.
I'd be speaking to him. I'd be going, bye. See you soon. Yeah, I mean, when I come into the building, I always say hello. And it's something to do with that. It's strange. We've never had this sounds before going on the, especially now we're talking. But you know, I always say hello when I'm coming into the building. I always say goodbye when I'm going out. It's respect as well, you know. Yeah. And it's funny because we were talking before, weren't we, that we were looking where we are. I mean, I've explained where we are before, and there's a little bit of a corridor. And I was looking out the corridor, and I saw like a light going past. And I looked up and thought, what was that? But, I mean, obviously, I had to carry on talking. Yeah. And I seen it. And then the next minute, you acknowledged me. You were trying to...
A few minutes later, I was waving my arm to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, you see that?
Yeah.
And light going past.
And you actually wrote it on a piece of paper for me to see.
I wrote it down on the note chair. That's what I was straight.
You know, the two of us saw the same thing, which was very unusual.
That. Yeah, but really unusual.
So yeah, there's the electrician who's seeing things as well, which is good, isn't it?
It's such a coincidence though about the end room in the cellar though, Jamie.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is.
Well, that's proved that I won't be going in there anymore. Not on my own anyway. Well, no, I'm not even going to say that because I know what you will do. You will take me up and I go, oh, you said that you go in with us. No, I don't think so. But listen, what I'm looking for is anybody else who's got ghost stories or anything like that. Yeah. And we've got a few things now. I mean, you can contact, if you've got a ghost story or you want to come on the radio, you can contact us on info@accessparanormal.gmail.com, or you can contact us on our Twitter account, which is #AccessParanorm1. We've also now got a Facebook page and a Facebook group.
That's right, Jamie.
And that's also called Access Paranormal Radio Podcast. So all you have to do is look for that. What's that? Is that walking? It's gone. What is that? That's interference, isn't it? Sorry about that. We're just getting interference. What?
Right, okay.
Yeah, well, let's carry on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got a Facebook page and a group page.
Yeah.
Access Paranormal Radio Podcast. So if you can get onto there and join us, please follow us, like us, message us, whatever you can.
Some posts up.
And we're started on the YouTube channel. That's not up and running yet, but it will be coming.
Yeah.
Again, Access Paranormal Radio Podcast. What is that? Jonathan, just keep going. I want to finish this show and get out of here.
I know, yeah. Getting a bit strange now.
That's not happening like that. Hello? That's weird. Sorry about the interference. We don't know what it is ourselves. We're going to carry on. We've also you're putting out an Instagram for us, aren't you, as well?
Yeah. The Instagram page will be going live over the weekend.
Brilliant.
So we can get in touch on there as well.
And what's that going to be called?
It's going to be called Access Paranormal Radio Podcast.
So easy to remember.
Yeah.
Well, it is. That's a strange noise. If you can hear the noise, whether it's the mic, I don't know, but we've not done anything. We've not done anything different.
No.
And that's the weirdest it's ever been. We've not touched anything in the studio. It's just like, come on, all of a sudden, now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And we've had a few strange things happen while we've been doing the show tonight. But hey, let's carry on.
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying that, so let's just try to switch on that, see if it picks up anything more.
It's very strange.
Are you getting it on yours?
Yeah. Well, I was getting some before, Jamie, and you weren't getting any.
No. But now we're both picking it up. Yeah. Shall I do a quick call? One quick call and see if I can get a voice. Cool. If there's anybody here with us now, And that's you. Can you make that noise louder? Is that your way of contacting us? Can you talk to us? If that's you, come forward, please. Come and say hello. I mean, before we were getting voices through the headphones.
Yeah. There's that again. Did you get that, Jamie?
Yeah, but I've just thought you heard something as well. My God, it's coming towards the end of the show.
I know, yeah. I'm just not looking forward to go across that hole.
I've got a torch, I'm alright.
So have I.
Yeah. We've also got to bring the wire up yet. We haven't rolled the wire up.
Just don't.
I'm really sorry, but that's really distracted us. Whatever's out there is distracting us now. Now you know how I feel.
I know.
When I was on my own in here that time and I was scared.
Do you know, we've only been in here though.
We've not been anywhere else in the building at all tonight. I know. But
Okay.
hey ho, let's carry on.
Yeah.
Where were we up to before we were disturbed?
Right, yeah, so the Instagram's going to go live over the weekend.
Yeah. That should be good.
Yeah, people can get in touch on there as well if they've got any stories.
Yeah, please. All your stories would be appreciated. What was that? Just keep talking, John.
Yeah.
I'm not re-editing this. I want to go.
I know, yeah.
For any listeners out there, I'm really sorry, but we've been dead relaxed all night.
I know.
And all of a sudden we're getting interference. We're I don't know, the atmosphere's changed.
Certainly has.
I've just gone really cold on my left hand side, very, very cold. This is the same as what happened to me. It's exactly, and it's what
Right,
time
okay.
yeah, it could be the same thing.
Okay.
If that door opens,
well, you'll know before me because I could be back to it, Jamie.
well, if it opens, I'm not telling you because I don't want to be in on my own. Yeah, I know there's an interference, but on the last note before we do finish, and this is something I'm doing for Mill Street Barracks.
Oh yeah.
It's not paranormal.
No, it's not paranormal.
It's something completely different. What I'm doing is we obviously, because of the lockdown and everything else, we can't really have the grotto here the way we used to have it. So what's happening is they're doing a Zoom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And he's going to actually be talking to the children at their home, at their houses, through Zoom.
Yeah, what a great idea.
It's a fantastic idea. And Santa Claus is going to be here talking to the children, which is it's a brilliant idea. I think it's great.
I think it's really, really good.
And there's a lot of people booking it as well. So if anybody does want to book it, please do us a favour. Contact Mill Street Barracks. If you want to, contact me and I'll pass your details over to Debbie, who's organising it. And you can book a Zoom with Santa.
Yeah. Although Mill Street Barracks has its own Facebook page as well.
They do. If you go to Mill Street Barracks on the Facebook page and message them and say that you're interested, I'm sure they'll send you the details. They'll send it in an email to you. And what'll happen then is, just fill all that stuff in and send it back to them. I think it's £2.50, isn't it? For
£2.50 for the Zoom.
A Zoom with Santa Claus. Yeah. And every penny goes to Mill Street Barracks to help support it. Sadly, it's been closed since March.
Yeah.
And they've got to keep it going, and it'd be great for you to do that. And I'm, instead of being Access Paranormal, for one program, a special Christmas program, it's going to be called Access Santa Claus.
Can't wait for this.
Because I'm interviewing Father Christmas here in the studio for the children. I'm going to ask them some questions. I've got questions off the children as well, who sent me their, things to ask Father Christmas. So it's going to be an hour.
Brilliant.
It's going out. The first time it goes out is on the 20th of December. Yeah. And that'll be on Access. Well, it's going out on both stations, Access Northwest Radio and L35 Radio.
Yeah.
Both are doing it on the 20th of November.
Brilliant.
Again on the 22nd of November. And November. Am I saying November?
You were saying now, I was just going to say.
Sorry.
December.
Yeah. Sorry. The first one's going out on the 20th of December. Then on the 22nd of December.
Yeah.
And then the final one's on the Christmas Eve.
Well, do you know what, Jamie? All the listeners should get all the children to listen to that.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. He's taken his time out of a really busy schedule.
That's right.
To come and talk to us. Yeah. I know he's going. He's coming into Mill Street and doing the Zoom for the social distancing. Yeah. And he's going to be social distancing as well. Obviously, he's got the room to himself.
That's right.
And he's got his Santa size. What's it called? Sanitizer. And everything else. So he's being safe, and so can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet him. And we will be social distancing in the studio with him like we are. Yeah. So it'll be great to listen to what he's got to say.
Brilliant. I can't wait for that one. I'm going to put that one on for my kids.
Oh, they'll love it. Yeah. They'll love it.
Get them all sat there listening.
Yeah. Don't forget to ask them to send me a question and I'll do it for them.
I will do, Jamie. I will do.
So yeah. Father Christmas himself. Me and Father Christmas. Yeah. Poor Santa.
Poor Santa is right.
Yeah. No, it'll be good. So if anybody's out there, please listen into that. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful interview with him. Very, very rare to get him. So this will be the first time I've ever sat with someone so special.
That's it.
Who's coming in, and it's a privilege to be able to do it, especially for the kids out there as well to listen in.
Yeah, that's it.
So
really
I'm looking forward to that. Well, Jonathan, it's that time of the night. How quick did this show go?
Really, really quick.
Too quick. So, to everybody out there, thank you for listening in again to Access Paranormal. We'll be back next week, and we've also got a special guest on the show doing a paranormal investigation with you, Jane Badners.
That's right.
We've also got an interview with Liz Waugh. So please tune in next week. So good night and stay safe.